I actually wanted to make this video in my studio, but I think shooting it in the car with the airplane noise above is maybe the best way to express how I'm feeling right now. So I released my first YouTube video over a week ago, and it got honestly a great reception for me. It's just, you know, a couple hundred views. It's nothing for a lot of YouTubers, but for me it was great. I got some folks in Australia commenting. I just feel like, I mean, my friends were talking about it, what they got out of it. And what I really want to do on this channel is pull the curtain back on being an independent artist, on every facet, mostly sticking to the creative side of things. I definitely want to, I have 3 videos in the queue right now that I'm working on editing. But that's another reason I wanted to make this video today, is in addition to making those 3 videos, I also have really stacked up this end of the year. So it's November 4th right now, and there is so much that I have planned for the end of the year. So I'll just do a quick rundown. So Friday, my next single, Intuition, releases. Then the following week, we go on a little tour of North Carolina. And tour is really not even the right word for it. It's a little run, but it's all independently organized. I'm organizing the band, all the logistics, where we're staying, renting the car. You know, when you do all this stuff by yourself, even what look like small moves compared to a bigger artist are still a lot. Then we have a date in Athens and a date in Atlanta the following week, so the 21st and the 22nd. So, you know, sort of a little Georgia run. And then, very excited about this, we are going to Paris, France for a week. So we have a gig at Les Trois Baudets, which is a venue in Paris, a really great venue. I'm playing with some great artists in France. Shout out to Jessica, who helped us put all this together. If you don't know, I used to live in France. I used to live in Europe. And so I haven't played there since 2022. And I've been working on getting back ever since, and it hasn't come to fruition until now. So I'm extremely excited and extremely emotionally excited to go back to France. And that is the gig is on December 6th, and we leave on December 3rd. And since I haven't been playing in France, I've changed my rig. So I usually, you know, I used to have a fly rig, but since I've been playing in Atlanta and been able to travel in a car, you know, I've expanded my rig a little bit. And we have an X32 rack. I have a bigger pedal board. And all of these things now need to be scaled down and flyable. So I'm purchasing some equipment from Sweetwater that is a heavy investment, but it's going to be a necessary one to make the pedal board and the X32 rack, all of that. We need to be able to carry that through the Paris metro. We need to carry that. We need to safely be able to check on certain items. We cannot carry on everything. I know everyone says never check everything. You read on Reddit, they're like, don't check anything. It's just not reality for anyone who's touring with more than their instrument, which is what I'm doing. I'm touring with a rack, I'm touring with a pedal board, and I'm touring with my guitar. So all of these things, I'm gonna try not to check my guitar, but I might have to check my pedal board. I might have to check my X32 rack. But the point is, I wanted to just get on and detail all this, not to complain. I'm grateful for what I have to do, and I love running a business. I come from a family of, my mom owned a business. I love all of the aspects of this, but it's just a lot. And I think I'm making this video also for people who maybe aren't independent artists themselves. I remember one time someone asked me, so what do you do? They see that I play gigs. So if you don't know, I play gigs full time for a living. So I play cover gigs in Atlanta, a minimum of 3 nights a week. Usually it's more like 4 nights a week. And, you know, that's 3-hour sets. So I can total up 12 hours on stage in a very normal week for me. That's very normal. And so people see me, and I remember someone asked me, well, what do you do during the day? Do you just practice? Do you just rehearse? And I remember laughing, because if you're an independent artist, you know, that's what I would love to do. Every day, I would love, that's actually a goal. People ask me what my goals are. A goal is to be able to walk down into my studio every day and make music and write and practice, learn new songs, definitely create new songs, write, mix, create, arrange. That's super fun. That is not the reality. If you're an independent artist, you already know what I'm talking about. Today, for example, I had to negotiate splits and register an upcoming song that's coming out on December 6th. I forgot to mention that. There's another single coming out on December 6th. And make sure all of my collaborators felt okay about the splits. I had to distribute it, upload it to the distribution site, make sure I've got all the metadata correct. And I've got 3 videos that I'm editing in the queue. And the big thing is I need to keep making content to push my song Intuition. And this is a big thing that a lot of artists complain about, is this need to make content for socials around the song. I love making videos. I'm very interested in the video making process, but I do sympathize with the fact that it does feel like a requirement nowadays to promote your music. And, you know, I started making music before social media was a thing, so I definitely have knowledge of how tough it was to get your music heard prior to social media. I understand when people feel frustrated about the fact that it's now a required part of the release process. And I will be honest, it does take time away from creating music, from writing and coming up with ideas. The majority of us live in cities, and the majority of us hustle and do something else. You know, I happen to do music full time, but I still consider myself hustling, because if I don't play, I have a family. So if I don't play 3 gigs minimum a week, that's what I have. I've set myself up to where I have enough establishments that I'm willing to get a guarantee at. They're willing to pay me a guarantee to perform. I've marketed myself in such a way that I can make a living off of this. But if I even take sometimes 1 weekend off, which I never do, usually once or twice a year, it eats into my finances. You know, it's not a salary that's coming in. And that's the reality for a lot of musicians. A lot of musicians work at a coffee shop, or they have some other type of day job, and they're making music in the in-betweens. And then to also have to make content to promote in the in-betweens, there just ends up not being enough hours in the day. Right now in my life, if I could just have a bit more time, especially with raising my family, I want to be a really present father. That's extremely important to me. It's way more important than making music, to be honest. So it's a weird balance, right? It's gratitude. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful to get to make music. I'm excited to put music out, but I'm also not excited to put music out, if that makes sense. I saw a Threads post, I believe, where an artist said, when an artist tells you they're so excited to release their new single, she said, spoiler alert, I'll see if I can find this tweet and put it on the screen. Spoiler alert, they're not. It's such a draining thing. And it's unfortunately a little bit true. I mean, I am excited to get the music out. I'm super proud of Intuition, my upcoming single. I think it's one of the brightest and most colorful songs I've ever put out. I think it's gonna be a song that people are gonna want to have in their playlist. I think it's just a great song. I don't think that I have to sell it super hard. I think most people who hear it really enjoy it. So I'm glad to have that in my catalog now, and I'm glad to have that out for people. But at the same time, yeah, it's a daunting task. There's so many talented people on Instagram making amazing videos, and to sort of compete with that or even try to contribute to that feels a little bit daunting, and it never feels like we can do enough. But I will say, to sort of bring it all back, one thing I'm really grateful for is YouTube. I'm a complete beginner at YouTube. This is probably going to be my second video, which feels really weird after the first video I made, because this is completely different. But I'm grateful for the way this platform allows for someone to talk to their audience, to have a dialogue, and to just come on and say things like this. You know, I want to put this video out also because I want to keep the consistency of my channel. People watched that first video, they're probably waiting on a second one. All, 130 of you that watched it, which I'm super grateful for. But it's gonna be a while. With everything that I have going on, I've really packed a lot into this next month. A month from now, this will all be getting close to being over, which is insane. Our gig in Paris is December 6th. So yeah, we're just a month and a few days, this will all be over. So I don't know if I'm gonna have time to edit a lot of videos between now and then, but I definitely want to. And so I just wanted to go on here and have a conversation about, wow, I'm feeling really overwhelmed. I've stacked way too much inside. I'm excited, but I'm also stressed. And, I want to continue to document this journey. I think I've gotten better. There were times in my life where I've been more stressed than this, way more stressed. When I put out my album Shadow Dancer a few years ago, that was a really, really, really stressful experience. And I think I've done a better job of managing stress. And I want to encourage any artists who are watching to manage their stress as best they can. And I guess I'll end the video by giving you a few tips of how I do that. So these are just personal things. You don't have to do any of these things. It's whatever finds you. I'll start off by saying, just in general, you deserve to have a good life. I'm big on telling artists that. On artists, we tend to throw everything, because of a lot of complicated reasons, we tend to throw all our eggs in one basket. And I don't mean as far as career choices, I mean just as far as we don't prioritize our mental health and our physical health, because we sort of live for this greater cause that we sort of believe in, which is sort of tied to this idea that I think that we're all on a bit of a noble quest when it comes to making art, which is really beautiful and is a good thing. It's something I really champion. But something I always tell my artist friends is, you deserve a good life. You deserve to be happy. And I personally think making yourself happy should come first. You may or may not agree, but I hope you agree that you deserve to have a good life and you deserve to be happy. So the ways that I do that are finding the things in my life that make me stressed and reducing them, and finding the things in my life that fill me up, that fill my cup, and increasing them. And this started with me. I had a really stressful, I mentioned releasing my last album was a lot of stress. In the period of probably the deepest stress in my life, 2022, I discovered CrossFit. I love going to CrossFit. I'm not amazing, but it's something I really enjoy, and it's completely changed my life, I can say that. I quit drinking. That's another thing. Again, you don't have to do this. This can be your own personal journey, but stopping drinking really helped me sleep better. I struggle with sleep. I tend to lay in bed and think about all the things I have to do, because owning a business and being an independent artist, you have a lot on your plate, and it's all up to you to keep it all moving. It's only up to you. And so I have this classic thing where I would lay down in bed at night and every thought would come into my brain and I couldn't sleep. So quitting drinking helped with that. And I think just quitting drinking in general was a really helpful thing for me. And I quit drinking coffee. This is a contentious one. You don't have to do this. But I noticed an increase in my anxiety due to my caffeine intake. And I started drinking black tea, which has a much lower dose of caffeine. Again, I'm not an expert on this stuff. I'm just going on how I feel. And I noticed I don't have less like fatigue drop-offs. I would have huge energy drop-offs at around 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And I don't have those anymore. And I think it's because of just switching to black tea. And so just having less caffeine has really improved. So yeah, kind of a tangent, but I just want to go on and sort of explain everything that I have going on, explain why it might take some time to get all of the things done that I want to get done, especially in regards to this channel. And I also want to say, maybe pull the curtain back on what it's like to be an independent artist. Maybe you're someone who's not a musician, but you're seeing artists creating content for their music on Instagram. And it's, maybe not that good, or maybe it is good. And you give it a like, or you give it a comment, and you tell them, great job, or something. You can't know. Maybe even if it's a 3-second, 10-second video, you can't know how much the artist has thought about it. The artist has probably spent hours, days, maybe even weeks agonizing about those 10 seconds because they want to get you to engage with their music, because that's their dream. And I just want to say thank you to anyone who has engaged on a post that I've posted, whether you've just given it a like, or if you've given it a comment or something, or you shared it. It sounds so stupid, but you don't know how much it means. It really means the world. You can't know how hard artists work. We're not sitting there all day practicing our instrument. Most of us wish we could. Most of us we're running a business. The same type of work that anyone who's running a business, whether you're running a tree business, whether you're running a law firm, whatever. I think it's a similar amount of work, and it's also like a life's work and a passion, so there's an emotional component to it. And it also doesn't earn very much money. So thanks for watching. Thanks for the love on the last video. If you have a second today, if you wouldn't mind pre-saving my new single, Intuition, or if it's already out, go in and listen to it. It would mean the absolute world to me. Otherwise, subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be doing song breakdowns, song challenges, and leave me a comment and let me know if there's other ideas that you have that I could make for someone in my position, just an independent artist out here trying to do it, trying to do the most, and other things you'd like to see. Thanks so much, and have a great day.